Welcome to another episode of Design with Pam. Today we're going to be designing this mobile screen for a company that sells cake. Alright, so this is what we're going to be designing today. I'm going to walk you through my thought process while designing all of this, why I chose this, the font size and everything that I did here. I'm going to walk you through it today. So let's get right into it. This is the screen we're designing today. Let me move this aside. If you like me to also show you how to design this screen, just leave a comment in the comment section and I will do that. This is like a transaction history screen, just shows you like things that you have done, and I'm going to walk you through my thought process too. All right, so let's begin. So the first thing first, just like if you've seen other of my videos, first thing first, we go to our toolbar here and we'll select this frame. Today we're designing a mobile screen, so I'm going to go to phone and I'm going to select the iPhone 13 mini. So I'm going to title this my frame. I'm going to call it cake company design. All right, so the first thing, let's start from the top. We're going to create this user frame that we have here, then our name here. Just click on O on your keyboard and hold on to shift and then drag a shape. So I'm going to leave the shape to be, sorry about that. So if you don't hold on to your shift very well, that you're going to get that kind of non-proportional shape, right? So let's hold on to our shift key, click on O, hold on to your shift key and then drag. But I want this shape here to be just 51. So make sure that this place is selected, so it's not like this, and make sure it's like this so that when you're reshaping, both the width and the height will reshape at the same size. So I'm going to give it a 50. Let's give it a 52. All right, so I'm going to click on T on my keyboard to activate text box and I'm going to type Pamela Robot. So today we're using this font, Aviner font, and I'm going to make the font as much as a 16. But I'm going to be using a heavy. I don't want it to be black. It's too dark. So I don't usually like using too black as a color, like 0000 black. I have a color that I use which is 101010. Look at the color code here, 101010. All right, it doesn't make it look too dark, and again it's not black. So I'm going to duplicate this and I'm going to change the color because I want to create this other text here. Okay, so I'll duplicate it and then I'll type welcome back. So the reason I'm going to change the color is because imagine you have these two things, the both of them are competing for attention, right? So I'm going to give each text a size based on the hierarchy of importance. Let me use that word, hierarchy of importance. Your name should prioritizing your name before the welcome back message. So for the welcome back message, I'm just going to change the color that I use. I'm still going to use this color, or I can give it this other color and change it from heavy to a Roman. Here the font should be Roman. Then I'm going to reduce the font size on its own to give me up to just give me a 14, or maybe we should use book. All right, so I think it is okay. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select this welcome back message text and I'm going to hold on to shift to select the other text, and I'm going to create an auto layout. That's by clicking shift A on my keyboard, and I'm going to leave it like that. I think having no space bits, I think it's okay. Maybe you should add a space here. So if you want there to be more space here, just imagine I type 200, so it's going to be like so spaced out here. You can see the space here. All right, so I'm going to click on Command Z or Control Z. Then I'm just going to give it a spacing of 2. I think that is okay. Then I'm going to select this frame here, and I'm also going to select this shape here, and I'm going to create an auto layout by clicking shift A. All right, then I'm just going to find an image by right clicking on the shape here and then going to my plugin. Just go to pixels. If you don't have pixels or saved on your Figma file, just go to manage plugins and find pixels. All right, so Once this is loading, another thing is we need to add our frame, our layout grid, right? Is very important. I like using that because I need to make sure that everything is aligned. That is how you get a very neat design. So for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to select any random image here. All right, so we have that, and this has been duplicated severally here. You can see the fill section here. So we have this image in multiple places, so I'm just going to remove most of it. All right, so for my layout grid, I already saved it here. So let me detach my style so you can see my settings, and you can replicate it if you want to, or you have your own settings. Great. All right, so I'm going to bring this down here just so it starts from this place here. Right, so the next thing is to create the shape that you see here. So I'm going to click on F on my keyboard to activate the frame. Then I am going to drag a shape. So for this frame here, I'm going to give it a 227 is okay. Then the height should be like 180. I'm also going to give it a corner radius of let's give it an 8. I think I gave it an 8 there. Then I'm going to add a fill color here. I'll click this plus sign and add a fill color, just so you see what we're doing. However, we're going to add an image. Go to plugins and go to pixels. Then I'm just going to type cake. For the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to select any cake at all. I'm not going to be picky about it, but make sure that when you're making your designs, you're going to choose the best picture that will portray your design or speak volume to your design. Make sure you do that. So let's just select this one. While we have it in here, we're just simply going to type our test. Type T and then type the test we have on the cake. For every celebration counts. So what I'm doing now is I'm going to change the font here. Your every celebration counts. I'm going to change the font to Sin. Right, I'm using this for my title. This is the font I use for title. Look at it here, and I'm going to make sure that it's in bold, and I'm going to give it a font as much as 24. Then I'm going to reduce this line height here. Then I'm going to go ahead to change the color to white. Then another thing I'm going to do is that I don't like the spacing that comes with the font on its own. I'm going to try to play around this the letter spacing and the line height. The line height is already on 162. I'm going to reduce it to a 130. Okay, so for this one, for this letter spacing, I'm going to give it a -7. For your every celebration counts, let's just leave it at bold, so you can see that it is not visible even since we have it on this image here. So what we're going to do is to create a rectangle just to create an overlay on this image. I just click on R and then I drag a rectangle over it, making sure it's the same width and the same height. I'm going to give it the same corner radius that I gave it before, and I'm going to change the color to black, and I'm going to go ahead to reduce the opacity just a bit. All right, but to make it more to make sure that this overlay I'm creating is focused mainly on the text that I want to highlight, I'm going to go ahead to select this section and create a linear here. So I'm going to turn this to this section and turn this to this section here. But now another reason why the text is not being visible again is if you look at this section here, this layer section here, you can see that the text itself is underneath the rectangle, right? But I'm going to then drag it to the top of it. Then I'm going to go ahead with the rectangle and then maybe still work on giving it a better feel. Maybe I should increase this a bit. All right, so I think we can work with this. So the next test says allow us to make it memorable. So I'm using a font 12. I'm going to change it to 12, I'm still going back to our other font, Avino. Then I'm not going to make it a bold. I'm going to make it, let's say, a Roman. I change the color to white. Then let me zoom in so you can see very well. Then for this section, I'm going to take it back to auto because I don't want the whole thing that I had going on here. For this one, I'm also going to allow the line spacing to be as much as 4. 4 is great. So I'm going to select this one, hit my shift, hold on to shift, and then select the second one and create an auto layout so everything snaps in together. But I'm going to make sure that the spacing between this text box that I have here with this edge of this frame, of the main frame, is a number that I like working with. Something divisible, like even numbers 12, 14, 16, 24, 28. I like using that numbers like that. So for here now, for you to see the spacing that you have, just click on the text itself, like the object itself that you want to know the spacing from another, and then hold on to your option key or alt key. Then you're going to see the spacing that it has from each angle. Right, so here is giving me a 17, so let's just make it 16. 16 is great. From the topmost is 34, so let's make it a 32. 32 is great, it's okay. Right, so let's create the call to action button, which says I'm going to click on T on my keyboard, and I'm going to type other cake now. So I'm going to go ahead and create an auto layout with this text by hitting Shift A. So once I do that, I'm going to come to this section, this auto layout section here. For the horizontal padding, that I'm going to give it a 16. No, let's give it a 12. It's a small button. Then let's give the vertical padding an 8. Then I'll just go ahead. Might be too much. Seems too much, right? So let's give it a 10 here. I'll give this one a 6. Right, so let's add a fill color. Let's just click on this fill section, take your color picker, and then pick the color that I have here. So you can see the color code, you can copy it out. Then let's create a corner radius because we're already using that. Let's give this corner radius, let's give the frame a corner radius here. Let's give it an 8. No, 8 is too much. So what I like doing, right, so if I'm using a corner radius that is not too pronounced, I like it to be across. If you can see what I did here, from this section here, from this one here, you can see the corner radius is not, is slightly bent here, not too bent, as opposed to, let's say I give it 100, right, as opposed to being fully rounded. No, I don't want that because I want there to be more like an alignment with what I'm doing. So I have a fully rounded, if I have a fully rounded corners here, then I will try to maintain the same flow with a fully rounded corner in all the places I create a fully rounded corners. But I just don't want something as prominent as that. So something a bit stiffened like this is okay for me. All right, so I think we're good. We didn't get this color very well. Let's create it again. All right, so we've gotten the color. This is the color code. Right, so there's that for that. The next step is to create, let's create this all segmented control bar tabs we have here. Let me show you the behavior. So users can toggle here, and once users click on this icon, maybe it show them, it displays another screen that has everything here and then sees more options, right? Okay, so to create this one, what all I did was to create, I created the text, click on T on your keyboard and just type popular. Font itself can be heavy. I left it at 12. 12 is okay, and let's make it a 12 is okay, and heavy is okay. So what I'm going to do now is to turn it to an auto layout. So I'm going to select it and click on Shift A. So for the horizontal padding here, I'm going to give it a 16, while the vertical padding, I'm going to give it an 8. All right, for the text itself, I'm going to leave it at the letter spacing to be 4. All right, then the line height is on auto. So I'm going to change the fill color, add the fill color here. Just go and click on fill here and select the tool picker, the color picker, and then choose the color, pick the color. So this is the color code, you can copy it out. But this state now that I've created now is more like the select state. I'm going to toggle off the mobile grid here so we can see exactly what I mean. So this, I gave it this color. So when you select this color, when you select any of this tab here, this is the color that it will show. But when it's unselected, it's going to be like this. So I'm going to go ahead and give it a corner radius of 4. Then I'm also going to go ahead to change this color of the text to white. But this white, let's make it a. Then I'm going to duplicate this, duplicate it again, and go ahead, select the both of them, go ahead and change the color. All right, then hold on to command, place my mouse at where I want to select, and then click on it. Hold on to shift to click on to select the other one, and I'm going to change the color to a black here. So I'm going to type recommended, then I'm going to type new in, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all of them, position it very well, and I'm select all of them here, and then I'm going to add an auto layout by clicking on Shift A on my keyboard. Then I'm going to give it a spacing of 12. All right, so if you want this thing not to be overflowing, maybe you want to see what's there, just toggle off this clip content here, put it back, and everything stays intact. All right, so you can get this icon from hero icons here, but I'm just going to copy the one I have here and paste it here. And then I'm going to make sure that from the from this frame here to this one, that the spacing is, let's give it an 18. Then I'll make sure the spacing between this frame here, this items that I have here, and that first is, let's give it an 18 too. I think we're good. Created this section here. Let's go ahead and create this other section here. So the first thing I'm going to create, I'm going to use a frame. I'm going to click on F on my keyboard to create a frame. So the sizing of the frame, I want the frame to, the width to be 156, and I want the height to be, let's see, around 244. I think that's good. And I'm just going to give it a fill color. Let's use FA. I think this would do it. Then I'm going to round the corners. Let me round the corners up to 8. All right, then I'm going to go ahead and take the rectangle here, and I'm going to create another shape or inside it, just so this would be where I'm going to, the container for me placing my image here. So I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to go to pixels, my plugins, and go to pixels. I'm going to just find an image of a cake, and I'm just going to chuck it in, just so you know, for the purpose of this tutorial, we're just going to use the most any of the pictures that is very handy. Right, while this loads, okay, so here we go. So let me just take the color that I use here. So I'm going to take the color picker and choose the color here. So I'm going to go ahead and input the text that we have here. Click on T on my keyboard and just start typing classic chocolates delights. So I'm going to leave this at I'm going to change it to medium, change the font to 14 to 11, sorry, and I'm going to like reduce this. I want it to drop on the other line. So the space between this text and this image and the image container, I want it to be maybe, let's say 12. No, let's give it an 8. Same with the spacing by this left hand corner. Then I'm going to duplicate the text here, and I'm going to type my amount, which is 20,000. Now I'm just going to go and take the Naira sign here, and I'm going to chuck it in here. So for the amount, I'm going with a heavy. A heavy is okay. Line spacing, everything sits well. So the color is still black. No, I don't use black. I use this color, which is 101010. Same as here. I try to use this color. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the both of them, and I'm going to try to create an auto layout. Once I do that, I am going to center align it just so they have the same alignment. So from the top, I'm going to leave it at 8. Then I'm going to create another text here, which says the subtext that you see here, which says pure cocoa bliss. Alright, so I'm going to change the color here. Use color font size to create some sort of hierarchy when we're designing. So this one, I'm going to give it this color. Just copy the color code. Alright, I'm still going to leave it at heavy. It is okay like this. Alright, then the next thing is to import this shopping icon. Just you go to your plugin and find hero icon, and I'm going to type shopping, and that's where we have it here. But I'm going to try to reduce the shopping cart because it looks larger than all of the text. So I'm going to activate this constraint proportion. So let's give it a 16. I think this is fine. So I'm going to also create an auto layout. Try to move this here. Then select the both of them and give it a spacing of up to 8. Sorry, up to 8. I'm going to create an auto layout and make sure I try to center it here. As long as centered, this is good. So I'm going to duplicate this, and I'm going to select this one, hold on to shift and create an auto layout. Okay, so once I do that, I am going to select just one of the frames here, click on Ctrl C, Ctrl V to create another one. You can see because this frame itself, the parent frame here, this frame iPhone 13 Pro mini that we selected, right, is on clip content, so everything is going to like go into the frame itself. But if I remove this clip content, then you can see what we've created. I'm going to duplicate and create another one and go ahead and close it. So to achieve this effect that we have here, let me play it. So you can have a horizontal scrolling. All you have to do is to select this frame, go to your prototype, and ensure you come to this section and make sure you select the frame itself and choose horizontal scrolling. So let me play it so you can see what I'm referring to. All right, so sorry, what we're missing here is, so this overlapping frame that is here, you must make sure that you bring it down to be the same size with the parent frame. Then you can, I think horizontal, that was right, horizontal is horizontal. All right, so here we go, this is it. All right, so we've created this section. Now let's move over to the next section. This next section, I'm going to increase my frame height. Then I'm going to type your offer. Right, so I'm going to increase the font size to 16, and I'm still going to leave it at heavy. All right, so let's leave it at heavy, but the spacing between this first one and the second one, I'm going to leave it at let's give it a 24. All right, so this icon here, I'm going to import it here. You can find it on hero icons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the two, and I'm going to create an auto layout. So let me go back and put my grid lines on so I see what I'm doing. I'm going to center align this. It looks okay. So the next thing I'm going to do is to create these shapes or this frame that you have here. So I'm going to click on F on my keyboard and I'm going to drag a frame, and I'm going to go and adjust the size, and I'm going to give the width 3 2 3. I think 2 3 3 is okay. Then the height, I'm going to give it a 129. So let's give it a fill color, same fill color that we use for the cat up here. Let's give it that. Then I'm going to go to the create and give it the corner radius should be let's give it an 8 still, or rather let's give it a 12. Oh, that looks too much. Right, so the next thing I'm going to do is to create a box or a shape where I will input my image. So I'm going to go and take a rectangle shape here, and I'm going to create it like this, but I want it to be the half of this frame. So I'm going to go to the width of this frame, copy the width, the number of the width, select the rectangle that I created, go to the width, paste the number, and then I'm going to divide it by 2, and then I'll get the exact same size. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to just select a picture, a random cake picture, and just import. All right, I think we're okay for now. So the next thing is to make this typings here. So let me explain what the concept behind this whole thing. So when you look at it here, the first thing you're going to see that captures your attention is the name and the price. Then you look at the call to action button that tells you to order cake. But I didn't prioritize, or the first priority is not this short description about the cake. So I use another font that is not as loud as the first font, right? So let's just type it. We have zesty lemon bust. I'm going to leave this one, let's give it a 12, and I'm going to still leave it at heavy. So for the small text here, I'm just going to copy the description that I have here, and I'm going to click on T on my keyboard, just drag a text box here and import what I have. Then I'm going to select the both of them, create an auto layout, and make sure the spacing is according to what I want. Let's give it an 8. 8 feels okay. Then I'm going to create another test here just to input the amount. So I've inputted the amount here, but the idea is to tell them that, oh, you're saving and you're saving money, you're saving something. So I just want to click input it dash on this one just to show that, oh, it was 20,000 naira before, maybe you're getting that 15,000 naira now. So I'm going to click this type settings here, these 3 dots that you have here, and I'm going to click on this strike through that you have, right? But I'm going to try to increase the font to 12. I think I used 12 here. Let's make this one an 11, and I'm going to reduce the spacing to a 6. All right, this one should be a 12 too, and I'm going to select and go and give it my black color. So the both of them, the spacing between both of them is, let's make it a 12, and then I'll select this one and create an auto layout still, but between it I want to give it a spacing a 16. No, we're adding a call to action button, so let's give it an 8. Still too much. All right, so I'm going to create a text here. Click on T and type order now, order cake now, cake now. Maybe I think it's too much. Let's just say order now. So I'm going to create an auto layout here, but for this horizontal padding, let's make it a 6. Let's see what we have. 6 is too much. For the vertical pattern, let's make it a 4. Let's make it a 4. Let's round the corners here to up to 14, and let's add the fill. There's a color that I'll be using here, but it's too rounded. The corner radius is too rounded. Let's give it a 6. 6 is okay. All right, so I'm going to change the color here to black, and I'm going to work on adjusting this whole thing. So for this first two, let's make the spacing between it a 4. Then the spacing between these two is also a 4. I think I should increase that. So the spacing between these two should give me a 12. I think we're okay. Nope. Now we're good. All right, so that's a simple way of creating this plate. Make sure that spacing between these two is, let's give it a 24. Then duplicate this, select this one, select the other one, create an auto layout. Then you can duplicate it by clicking selecting one and clicking Ctrl C, and there you have your design. So, and if you found this video helpful, please, this is me. My name is Pamela. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram. Send me a Figma link of what you've designed. I can help to make corrections where needed, right? And you can check out other of my videos where I did some design tutorials that can guide you navigate if you're just starting off as a UI UX designer. I'm hoping to hear from you soon. See you next time.